I have the honor and privilege to be hosting Dr. TARIQ BHATTI, who is Assistant Professor, College of Business Sciences, Zayed University here in Dubai. Now, Prof, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
I want to quickly ask you, you did mention something that was very thoughtful during the panel discussion. Now, when it comes to the issue of awareness, and the insurance generally, it's very low. But when you bring it home to TAKAFUL insurance, even in Muslim majority countries, you find out that awareness on TAKAFUL is very low. What do you think is responsible for this?
Okay, let me go back. I have done a research recently. The paper has been published in corporate ownership and control on corporate reputation in the TAKAFUL industry. There is another research which we have just completed. This was looking into the awareness and the consumer attitude towards the car TAKAFUL and car insurance. We found out that there are about 35 to 40% of the respondents are not aware of what is TAKAFUL. They do not know what is the difference between TAKAFUL and what is the insurance. I think in order to improve the awareness of TAKAFUL, the industry, especially the TAKAFUL industry, is responsible. They are working on how to improve the processes of their organization, how to improve the profits for the shareholders. But there is not, in my opinion, I think that there is not much effort done on creating the awareness of among the customers that what is TAKAFUL and what is actually the insurance. They could use different type of strategies like advertising, which
they hardly do.
Yes, they should have done it like a primary advertising, which is like an industry joined together. All these 12 companies can join together and then they can advertise. There are different forms of advertising they could, but basically to differentiate what is TAKAFUL, all right? What is the difference between normal, conventional insurance and a TAKAFUL? This is one way. Nowadays, we can, they could also think of using a social media these days. They could also have a road shows in the schools, in the universities, talking about what are the differences. So from my perspective and from our research perspective, there is lot of lack of awareness among the respondents that what are we paying, because when you compare the car insurance between TAKAFUL and the normal insurance, there is not much difference in terms of product. So the question comes that then why are we paying a higher premium for TAKAFUL, whereas the conventional insurance, they are more experienced and they can reduce the premium in certain ways. So that's a big question which is people.
Okay, so speaking about that question, do you think it has to do with the framework or regulation of TAKAFUL, for example? Because in some cases, even those who are aware of TAKAFUL, the issue of pricing comes to play when maybe they are presented with conventional insurance and of course TAKAFUL.
Yes.
The broker tells you, oh, if you go through a conventional insurance, you're going to pay a lower premium. And oftentimes that's what the client would settle for.
You're right.
So pricing, do you think it's part of the problem why we have this change?
It might work for certain products like maybe car TAKAFUL, but when it comes to the health insurance is done, it is a mandatory, it is compulsory. Like, most of the employers here would actually go for, they have to insure, all right? So the employer will buy insurance for the employee. So there, the same criteria, selection criteria will not work what the individual will do. So there are two things which we are dealing right now, consumers buying the insurance or TAKAFUL versus the businesses buying the insurance. So the pricing certainly will matter when the takaful or the conventional insurance is purchased by the business organization. Like if a motor organization is going to buy an insurance for the employee, medical insurance, so certainly the main criteria they will look into is going to be the pricing. But when it comes to the individuals, the criteria, selection criteria will be different. As the research says that some customers might look into the reputation of the organization, some might look into the customer service, so Sharia compliance, whether the company is Sharia compliance or not, so it varies. So I don't think that price is the major factor. It depends on which segment are we dealing with and what is the background of the consumer.
Okay, Prof, still speaking about that, I'm a bit surprised or taken aback when you talked about the research that 40% of the population are really not aware of what TAKAFUL is all about in a predominantly Muslim community.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
The UAE.
Yeah.
But my question is there a role you think that government can also play in deepening TAKAFUL awareness among the population?
Yes. First of all, that we need to look at the research, what is done. It is the sample was only 350, so we cannot generalize the whole research. They could be another type of study. Further studies should be done from the association, insurance association, maybe other like Emirates Association of Insurance here, to find out how much is really the insurance. So our methodology is the respondent or the sample was only 350 people we are talking about, and from there we found out
but even at that, I observed that when you said 40%, some of the panelists actually agreed with you that there is need for them to do more when it comes to awareness creation.
Yes. So we need to, certainly, to going back to your previous point, that the government can come in. There are insurance authority, they could come in. As I mentioned about the industry, the TAKAFUL industry as a whole, all the 12 companies, plus the agents, brokers, and other who are the stakeholders of the TAKAFUL industry certainly can put a joint effort to create an awareness, to differentiate what is the difference between that. To the consumers, it looks like there is not much difference on a certain product. So clearly we need to send a message that there is a big difference, and what is the difference, why are we differentiating. But we need to be also careful that we don't want to really hurt about the sentiments of our conventional insurance consumers as well. Yeah.
Okay, now, Prof, let's come to the topic of this 13th World TAKAFUL Insurance Conference. We're talking about differentiation, we're talking about innovation and profitability.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to TAKAFUL, how can they really differentiate?
You see,
since they're offering basically the same thing.
The thing is, theoretically, the difference between the TAKAFUL and conventional insurance is that the TAKAFUL does not charge or does not have any kind of interest or riba in Arabic. It does not have any kind of gambling. Like in conventional insurance, there is a gambling as well, or element of gambling. There is a kind of uncertainty in conventional insurance, whereas in TAKAFUL it does not have. So these are the three major academic differences which we can look at that conventional and a TAKAFUL insurance is. But practically you need to go to the consumer and tell them that we are talking about a mutual like a kind of insurance, which is we are going to take care of other fellow Muslims or the community member, or we can talk about these days a word which is we are using ethical part of it. So the difference has to be cleared in like a kind of bold letter. What I will say that the key point, or what we use a word called unique selling point, that what is the difference. So the difference could be the product may not be different, the operation, certainly the values beliefs could also be highlighted over here. So the ultimate thing is that the difference has to come in. Otherwise, we will not be able to differentiate between the conventional and the Islamic insurance.
Okay, now, Prof, I also want to dwell a little bit because I find in Nigeria, for example, until very recently, when I got very close to a CEO of a TAKAFUL insurance, a lot of people have this misconception that, oh, TAKAFUL is only for the Muslim. But the underlying factor is, as you said, it's more or less like an insurance for that is mutual. You benefit, everybody benefits. But even the operators in TAKAFUL space, they've not been able also to sell that across to even those who are not Muslim, but who also want to embrace TAKAFUL.
Yes, I think that we need to go back and take some of the studies or the research done in Islamic banking. That is already a grown area now. So they have done a very good work, like differentiating between what is Islamic banking and what is the conventional banking. Now, consumers, it is not only for Muslims, it is also for non-Muslims. Like in our Western countries, many countries, it is a very popular, Islamic banking is popular. So similarly, a country like over here, you can sell it to both parties, all right, to both consumers, whether they are Muslims or whether they are non-Muslim. But the message has to go straight or very clear that what are we selling. What is the difference between a conventional and Islamic? What are the benefits? You are trying to help the society, you're helping the community. These type of things has to go to get a clear message among the consumers.
Okay, now speaking about innovation, which a lot of people say is the future of business, how can the TAKAFUL industry innovate, not just for themselves, but also to capture maybe new market segments?
I think there are two things which we can look at it. Number one is about the channels, the innovation in channel. Like we are using earlier, it used to be sold through the brokers and agents. Nowadays, because of mobile business, electronic business, or what we call electronic commerce, we can sell directly to the consumers. So the TAKAFUL industry does not have to rely to the third party right now. They can have or use a direct channel, which is that people can buy certainly directly from the websites. But again, this is a kind of a service or a product. TAKAFUL products are those type of products or services which will say that you need some kind of a guidance, some kind of assistant that what I am going to buy, what are the terms and conditions of my policy, what will be in case of like a motor insurance, if there is any kind of accident, how I'm going to claim. So for that, what I'll say that the website has to be clearly clearly mention about what are the benefits you'll be getting. It has to be like a kind of a help, like what we have a 24/7 help, which they can offer. So basically they could like channels, first of all, they can innovate that way. Number two is about the processes, all right, the processes where we normally talk about TAKAFUL, the companies are losing, the cost is high, so they could use like fintech. We can talk about blockchain. We can talk about other technologies.
Prof, those things are also expensive when you narrow it down.
That's right. Over here in the UAE, what you could do is, like as we heard today, that we can collaborate. All these 12 companies, is 12 companies only we are talking about in the TAKAFUL industry. They can join together in certain areas, they can collaborate together. Certainly their products, some products are same. So yeah, you can actually use the technology where there could be a collaboration, and then that can enhance their profit. So you need to cut down the cost.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
Prof, you do know that collaborating is always not easy when people they see themselves as competitors.
You're right.
So,
Yes.
so
But
coming together to collaborate is always a tough sell.
it is, but I think it has to, like, we are looking for the long-term future. We are looking at survival here. We have like other maybe 48 other competitors we are competing. So in that way, we need to cut down the cost. I think that this is going to be one area where the processes we can improve and technology can come, and collaboration could be, like, as a strategist, not the ultimate thing, but this could be an idea that if mutually we can certain things, as we are talking about outsourcing. All right, outsourcing. So accounting functions can be outsourced, like normal organizations are doing that. HR is outsourced. So similarly, in TAKAFUL also, we can look at the areas which could be like collaborated in that way.